The baths are tantalising, as only one photograph exists showing what they look like. But knowing that they contain teak furniture, brass and bronze light fittings, and were decorated with glazed ceramic tiles protected by steel walls, means this could turn out to be the best preserved room in the entire wreck. Considered the height of decadent luxury in their day, the Turkish baths didn't meet with everyone's approval. One first-class passenger, Mrs. Daisy Spedden, who survived the disaster, was less than thrilled with the experience. "It will be my first and my last," she said. "I've never disliked anything as much in my life."
The door to the Turkish baths is just ahead to the left. But is it closed or is it just ajar?
Oh, it looks like access into something.
Now I feel like, you know, the archaeologists that found King Tut's tomb, you know, what it must have felt like to them. Tell them we're in the Turkish baths and we see the tiles.
We are in the Turkish baths and we see wall tiles. You guys made the call. Look at the quality of preservation.
Yeah, Ken called it totally.
The preservation of this room is unreal.
Unbelievable. Look at this.
There's one of the beds.
Yeah, look, there's one of the lounges. Now, I guess these are more of the chaise. Look at that one. It's intact. Talk about deck chairs on the Titanic. Unbelievable. Oh, man.
This room is really frustrating, not just for me, but for all the archaeologists. So near, and yet so far.
It's hard when something is so technologically advanced and so based in what it takes to get us out here.
You mean there's a lot of technological guys and actually their priorities tend to predominate?
Bingo. Well, if they can't get us down there, we can't do anything.
Yeah, yeah.
And if they get us to...
No, I was just thinking, but that means that you can't record in the same way that you would as an archaeologist. You can't lay a grid down. You can't say, I've found a certain collection of things right on this point, which may mean something or not.
And you do have to go around that, and it is actually extremely difficult to look at an archaeological site and see vertical integrity. Well, look, I've got this room, and oh, it has walls and a roof. Yeah, you're looking at it in a completely different way. And so we tried to come up with a system of nodes where we would go in and survey each room using the little ROV, get a 360-degree view, and then at least bring that back and have image database of Titanic. But it is more of a matching it to the historical record than any actual excavation. We're not disturbing the sediment at all.
But there must be some value for you as an archaeologist.
There is definitely, and for me, it's that we're going to try and put this artifact database in the public domain. We're going to post it on the web and make it accessible to everyone.
Look at the decorations. That is like perfectly...
The baths have survived virtually intact due to the walls being made of steel. Even the ceramic tiles are still attached.
Oh, look at that.
The designers were obviously trying to create a Moorish feel to the place. Tiled peacock bird motifs alongside highly ornate carved wood domes and finials. Teak's the only wood known to survive on Titanic. The treated hardwood seems to be immune to decomposition.
Oh, look at the preservation of the woodwork.
Even the Star of David carvings underneath the half dome are still sharp and visible.
This is so beyond what I had hoped for.
Despite our look but don't touch approach, there are some people who maintain that Titanic should be completely left in peace. After all, 1,500 people died in the disaster.
Some people look upon Titanic as a memorial that should have never been touched, never been disturbed, and indeed some people think it should never have even been found or photographed. There's quite a large spectrum here from those extremes to the other extreme, which is, you know, salvage everything you can from the site, recover and preserve and restore and conserve as much as you can, because Titanic is slowly deteriorating and collapsing, and inevitably this is true. I tend to fall more on the side of recover what we can, not before very thorough documentation. Photograph where everything is in situ, in its position, document, measure, whatever you can, but certainly within a century, everything within that ship, no matter how historical, how rare, they will all be destroyed and lost forever.
We must learn from Titanic not only the arrogance of man going too fast and striking the iceberg, but also that we're above Mother Nature, above the bacteria and deterioration. It's a very humbling experience to see the ship and see the life that still exists on Titanic. Yet you look over and the handrail is still there and you wonder who was the last person who touched that. So it's a very intricate dance between science and history.
Down below, Jim's engaged in a dance of his own as he tries to untangle his tether and penetrate even further into the wreck.
Jim has just come out of the stairwell at the sea deck level, and he's looking to starboard here and a little bit forward. And just out of frame to the right is the purser's office. In fact, right in front of us here, on the right a little bit, is what we believe is the first-class safe. A big iron object there. You can see all the rusticles dripping off of it.
The purser safe is going to have all the passenger jewelry in it because you didn't lock your cabins in 1912. And you could have your steward lock it, but it was easier if you just went to the purser, gave him your valuables, and asked him to store them, and then you would go and retrieve them if you needed anything. If you wanted on Sunday night to dress up, you go get your better jewelry or something like that. And supposedly it's all still in there. The ladies said they went and asked for their stuff, and they were told they couldn't have it.
Jim's next target is a suite of rooms made famous in his movie. Belonging in real life to the Strausses, an elderly American couple, their sitting room was where Leonardo DiCaprio painted Kate Winslet.
We're heading aft, and the other side of this wall is the sitting room of a suite. And it was occupied by Isidore and Ida Strauss, and he was one of the founders of Macy's department store. And they were traveling together. They were elderly at this point by 1912 standards, in their early 60s, had been married 40 years. And when they went up on deck, she had the opportunity to get in one of the first lifeboats, and her maid got in, and she had like one foot in the lifeboat, stepped back, went to her husband and said, "We've been together for 40 years. Where you go, I go." And she wouldn't get into a lifeboat without him. And they ended up going down together.
Well, I believe we are in the Strauss cabin. We are in the Strauss cabin, yes. Oh, say it's not the clock. Say it is not the clock on the mantle. Oh my God. This is outrageous. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, look.
The glass crown on the clock face is still intact.
Yeah, it's just...
We could just clean it, we could see what time it is.
Yeah.
This sort of smoking gun evidence is almost never found in archaeology. One single object that could tell us the exact time when the flooding of this room occurred.
Oh, I wish you'd get closer.
Of course, the clock was bolted to the mantle, so it's not just sitting there by gravity.
Up,
Stand-
up.
I can see a Roman numeral.
You can see
I
something
can see
in there.
a Roman
Yes.
numeral in there.
Yep, 11, and X is Roman numerals.
Oh, God.
That's 12 at the top. You can see a number, a large.
Yeah.
There's the
Okay,
one.
there's the minute hand right there. It's about 5 minutes.
You sure that's not the one?
Well,
That looked like, I mean, it could have been the one. We'll do frame grabs. Can
Yeah.
we clean this up?
Look at
and
the
we'll-
condition. I mean, this has got to be, gold-plated brass.
Maybe, well,
Like
if he pulls up just a little bit. I know, we're so...
the ROV focuses.
that is
so
a hand
closely.
right there. Now that's going all the way to the periphery. That's got to be the minute hand. The hour hand wouldn't go that far out.
Well, maybe it was 2:04, 2:05 when it stopped,
Yep.
because that's just where it would be.
Well, looks like my estimate was off.
Yeah. Oh, look how close he's trying to see through that glass desperately. And we were wondering, why didn't he try to?
Quick, Jim, what time is it?
There's something under there. That's like the 4
But
position.
see, it almost looks like there's rust settled
That's-
down
yeah,
inside
that's
there.
rust.
See, I have a feeling that the hands are such thin metal that they've gone.
Well, that
Could be.
one was so skinny and so distinct. It had to have been a clock hand.
We will find out. There'll be a lot more study of this footage, that's for sure.
I feel like I've been on a roller coaster ride.
I know, we almost saw hands on the face of a clock.
I think we saw it here.
I know.
The chance survival of this small, delicate object is extraordinary. It certainly looks like the Strauss's clock stopped at 2:20. One more tiny new detail in the Titanic chronology.
Pièce de résistance was that the clock was still sitting on the mantle.
Yeah.
The gold and ceramic clock that we had in the movie, featured in like the very first shot in that area of that suite.
Were you able to be kind of clinical and scientific and detached about it?
Are you kidding?
Stuff going.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's the detached part that's still flying the ROV and trying not to silt out and do the proper image. But there's the other little kid in the back of your brain that's jumping up and down saying, I can't. We're gonna go here. Cheers, all right, man. Good luck. And we dive tomorrow. We dive tomorrow.
After waiting days for my chance, this is it. No turning back. Tomorrow, I dive at dawn.
Enjoy the World Cup with a Chinese or Indian takeaway for £4 for only £9. Astonishing. More for you for less. That's Asda price.
Movement. Only when you truly understand it can you create extraordinary fuels. Shell, made to move.
At B&Q, big projects mean big savings. Spend over £50 on any of our kitchens and save 15%. Chop chop! Ends 25th of June.
Have you discovered the deliciously creamy taste of Onken Biopot? Made with live biocultures, the original Biopot yogurt from Onken. Feel good.
At B&Q, big projects mean big savings. Spend over £50 on any of our bathroom suites and save 15%. So splash out. Ends 25th of June.
Many a fortune hunter has been lured to their death here in Namibia's Skeleton Coast. But I'm heading now to one of the biggest diamond mines in the world. Don't want to get stuck out here without any water, that's for sure.
Find more real adventure at nissan-adventure.co.uk.
The Second World War claimed the lives of 60 million people, but that war didn't begin in Poland in 1939. It began in China in 1937, and only one country could have prevented it: Britain.
The War of the World, a major new history of the 20th century, continues Monday at 8 on 4.
Up until now, I've watched all this stuff rather dispassionately. Jim came out of the water about 7 hours ago, and the guys are doing the essential maintenance so that it can go back in again. It's a bit like a pit stop in a Formula One race. The only difference is that